So guys, you already know we back in the kitchen, man cave, showing you how to make some nice moro de habichuela roja con una ensalada. Real light, especially for my single dudes out there that really don't know how to cook flavorful foods that still get the job done. You feels me? So we're gonna go through a few simple steps right quick, okay? We're gonna do the seasoning, the sazon of the moro. Because a lot of people tend to have trouble with that. But to be honest, once you do the seasoning, you add the rice, and it's a waiting game after that. So, once I return, we're going to do the list of ingredients. Alright guys, so here we are again. First step, right? We have our pot. Make sure that it's hot. Don't worry about how hot it gets at first. Just make sure that when you first turn it on, when you first turn your stove on, maybe a regular gas stove or an electric stove. This is an electric stove. You make sure that you put the heat high and then reduce it later on. I'm gonna add some oil. Alright, real simple. So you gotta be careful with the oil. Because when you have a hot pan and you add oil, that oil instantly gets hot. So you need to be careful. So for the moro, today we're gonna use the Goya can, the habichuela roja. What am I going to do to this olla right now? I'm going to add some red onions, right? I'm not going to add too much to my moro because I want it to be simple. I'm going to add more veggies to my salad than I am to my moro, right? So, right? Got our onions, right? Next step, another Goya product. You already know. Latino flavor in the house. This is the adobo, alright? So we're going to add a little bit. So you know what they say about cooking, right? If you enjoy cooking, if you know what you're doing, sometimes you don't need to measure it. You just need to fill it out. I tend to count things out. That's how I feel things out. So I tend to do 1, 2, 3. Alright? That can be of anything. That could be of seasoning. That can be of salt. That can be of pepper. But I like to count things out. It's a lot easier for me than just feeling things out. Alright? This is some flavor magic. It's just condensed seasoning. It's seasoning that's already condensed in cube form. We throw it in there. It's very similar to adobo. Alright? So can I get a close-up right quick of that right there? Alright, so as you can see, you know, nothing too complicated. We're just shaking it up a little bit. Right? And in about 2 minutes, I'm going to add the beans, okay? Alright guys, so we back. You know, the onions are browning, so it's a pretty good sign for us to add the beans. So literally guys, I'm gonna add the beans. I'm gonna drain a little bit of the water because I don't want all that extra liquid. And then we out here. You know? Some nice little habichuelas rojas. People will call them kidney beans. You know, and then we just let it simmer a little bit more, right? So why is it important to, when you drop the beans, let it simmer, right? You want to let it simmer because the next and final step is to add the rice, right? So you want to be able to have an already boiling pot when you add the rice, so that when you do add rice, you add water too, and then you put the heat down. And then, hey, like I said, it's a waiting game after that. A good 15, 20 minutes later, you have a wonderful moro, all right? So, bear with me for a little bit, guys, while this simmers. And if anything, this is what I'm doing over here. There's some onions, there's some tomatoes, and this is going to be for our salad over here, right? So, guys, again, this kind of meal, very basic. It's actually a very basic meal for a lot of people that want to be vegetarians, or they want to explore the vegan route. Doesn't have any meat involved. Doesn't have any dairy or any extra ingredients that are unnecessary. So right now what I'm doing is just rinsing the tomatoes a bit. Because these tomatoes, to be honest, we don't want to do nothing to them. Once the rice is ready, we're going to mix in this little bit with the salad, and then we'll be good to go. Personally, for my salads, I don't like doing a lot. I either like dressing it with vinegar or dressing it with lime. I don't do a lot of different kinds of dressings unless it's in a sandwich. I like a lot of different salad dressings on sandwiches, ironically. But it's because of their thickness and consistency. That's why I like them for sandwiches. But if I want something light and hearty, I'm either going to use some vinegar or I'm going to use some lime for my salad. Alright? As you can see, things are coming to a boil, right? So we're going to add the rice in a little bit, maybe like another 30 seconds. Again, guys, real basic meal, especially for my single dudes out there. You can be healthy and still cook yourself something nutritious, alright? Don't get it twisted, my guys. I got salchichon in the fridge, you know? It's not about not living a it's not about living a meat-free life. It's really about conditioning your body for different aspects of your life, right? So if you want to be more slender and more healthy and have higher energy, then less meat does work. But if you're working out and you need that aggression, you need that extra oomph, that extra testosterone, hey, meat can only set you up to win. Alright? So now that things are coming to a boil, we're going to add the rice. So I'm just draining the water a little bit because I don't want it to spill all over the stove. Alright, so we added our rice. Now we're going to add water. And I do it in the same bowl because I want to use all the leftover flakes. Alright. So, it's also important to add enough water. So I usually try to, if you cook at home, and you cook often, and you use the same pot over and over again, you usually have a little line in the pot of how often you cook. My line is like right here. So I try to fill it up with as much water as I can up until I reach that mark. But if you don't cook and you don't have marks to depend on, it's usually good to fill it up a little bit over where the rice actually is. So if your rice and your beans are here and you fill it up to overflow just a bit over, that's good enough because you want the water to cover the rice. You don't want to have dry rice. Alright? We're going to add a little bit more. Alright. So what we're going to do now, like I said, it's a waiting game. We're gonna put the lid on this. It looks like a nice stew, but at the end, it's gonna be a nice moro, right? Mixed rice and beans. We're gonna cover it up. We're gonna put the temperature on low. And something that I like to do, a lot of people from the Caribbean can relate to this. These pots are pretty old. They're missing the component to grab the lid. So what we do is these little holes, in order to trap the heat, we cover it up. We cover up these little holes. These little holes allow heat to escape, and it makes it take longer to cook the rice. So that's kind of like giving the pot a ponytail, and then you know you're on your way. Alright guys, stay tuned for the finished product once we get back. Guys, so like I promised you, I had to take my hat off right quick. It got a little bit hot in the kitchen. But like I promised you, we're going to look at our finished product. And then we're going to enjoy our meal later with the salad. Alright, so let us just get a quick look at the salad. Right, it's been straining over here. We got the veggies over here with the tomatoes and stuff ready to go. We're going to make them, and the vinegar, right? So today we're going to do some vinegar instead of lime. Just want to let y'all know that. And again, straight Dominican style, guys. Our old school pots, they don't really have that portion of the lid where you can pick it up. So we're going to do it the old fashioned way. Alright. Alright, we slip the fork through. Come, get close, guys. Get close. We're gonna look at the deliciousness of this moro. And we got a little bit of concon at the bottom too, right? So guys, really healthy meal. You can eat as many portions of this as you like with a nice little hearty salad. And we're gonna enjoy this, guys. Thank you for tuning in. This was ManCave. Peace.